Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
Hi.
for the food. That was a
No
nice
worries.
surprise.
Yeah, Sunday morning is all about hometown food.
Ya lah, kita orang Borneo bah.
Mm.
Just giving myself
How,
a nice stretch. Did I come
how
in
are
too
you?
early, Adeline?
No.
I'm good. I'm
It's
feeling better.
just right in time.
Okay.
Yeah, we just let people coming in first. Okay. Hi, good morning
You
everyone
see
who's
lah, my
tuning
white
in with
hair
us
all.
today for a morning chit chat. Later we will talk about hair, right? 3 o'clock. You have a session.
Yeah, I do.
Mm.
Okay lah, I make myself kemas a bit lah. Hi, Sha. Hi,
My
Brandon. Okay lah, kemas sikit.
my okay, my
Okay, whilst waiting for everyone to come in, I just
yeah.
wanted to show you that I'm using the shorts today. Of course, I'm not going to flash my panties to everyone, but because
Yes.
this is one size
The
smaller,
Imana shorts.
so yes, the Imana pants, the short
Mm-hmm.
pants, I feel, and this is the smaller size that I
Mm-hmm.
ordered from you, and I'm so glad that I can squeeze
Yep.
into it. I really love it. And since we're still on Plie and we're still waiting for your queue to start, I'm just gonna let everyone
Mm.
else know that ever since I've started using the Imana long pants and short pants, I can't go
Mm-hmm.
back to other pants. For some reason, it really is
Mm-hmm.
shapewear, guys, and I can't stress enough on how it boosts my confidence. I mean, because when I use mine, because I'm always in yoga wear, right? I'm
Yeah.
always in fitness wear because kononya, like if I had that time, 15 minutes, I can just squeeze it in and then do a light workout. So I've
Mm-hmm.
got like a few fitness brands that I use. And of course
Yeah.
I need to cuci my Imana pants, right? So
Yeah.
like when I don't have my Imana pants, I'm like, why my bontot tak cantik hari ni ah? Why so londek like that? So it really works, and I'm so glad that you've introduced me to the brand. Anytime you want to start, you can start, okay?
Okay. I'm so glad to hear that from you, Daphne. Yeah. I'm also wearing it, so but I'm not gonna flash it as well. Yeah. The Imana highway short is the go-to at the daily go-to shorts pants at home.
It is.
All
Hi,
right.
Asoka. All right.
So we're gonna start now. So hi, good morning everyone that is tuning in today. Good morning. Today we have my favorite person, Daphne Iking. I hope that guys are here today for the very very much special topic that we actually invited Daphne to talk about, which is the balance of life and business partner. As you all know, that just a little bit of introduction for Daphne is as you all know that Daphne Iking is a content creator. It's actually she's everything, like a bit of here and there, right? So as well a TV personality, motivational speaker, a media trainer, child's right activist, and a mother of 4. And I can tell you that when you follow her on your IG, it's very entertaining because your content revolves a lot of things from life to work to cooking to cleaning to everything. I learned a lot from you just by following you.
Oh, thank
So
you.
so so today we're gonna just focus on the balance of life and business part, because I know that you do a lot of things and along the side with your husband Joe. So before we start, why not you just maybe introduce yourself a little bit more on
Well,
what
you've
you
sort of
focus on. Yeah.
introduced the whole thing.
Yes.
But yes, I am a content creator right now, and I've
Mm-hmm.
started a live stream, a professional live stream set up here at home.
Mm-hmm.
No thanks to the
Yeah.
MCO, but that's just how it is. We pivot and we find ways to sustain and thrive. And at the same time, I'm also doing 2 networking business, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we have our conversation going on why I decided to go into that business. And I also work on my charity, which is my NGI, a non-governmental individual called Humarap, which means Hope in Kadazan
Yes.
Dusun, which I'm collaborating with Play Malaysia. Thank you so much for being on board.
Thank
And
you.
that's basically it. I've got 4 kids. Well, actually 5. Technically, between us, we've got 5. But he's an adult now. Arif is an adult. So I've got 4 small humans in this house.
Okay, all right. So just go into straight to the title. How did your husband end up being your manager? I think
Oh
that
my
is one
God.
of the question.
This is hilarious. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm not sure if you all know Amber Chia, the supermodel. So Amber Chia and
Yes.
I shared the same manager, and that was about 11, 12 years ago, right? So he was managing me. Adrian was managing both Amber and myself, and then they got married. So, and then Amber got pregnant. So he took leave. He said, Daphne, do you think I can take leave for a while? And I said, yeah, sure, go ahead, because Amber was having problems with her early pregnancy, right? And then at that point of time, Azmi, his actual real name is Azmi. Azmi was in the corporate world, and I'm actually fine managing myself. It's just the negotiation part because I don't like talking about money. There's one thing about me, I can do everything else, but I hate discussing money. So when it comes to negotiation, I don't like doing that part. And because I wanted to give Adrian some time off, I told Azmi, I said, can you just help me out with this deal? Because I think I can get a little bit more. I think they're not. So he did that and he likes it because he's naturally in sales and marketing. So he decided one day, because he had enough of the corporate life, he said, like, you know what? And at that point, we were planning to actually, wait, hold on. I think we were married already. No, we weren't. We weren't married yet. He said, why don't I manage you? And I thought, yeah, fantastic, because he does a fantastic job with it. But that time, masih dating, still love. Still
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, lah, you can do everything for me, lah. I like it. I love it. The reason why, very quickly, why his name is Joe Balosi is simply because when Amber and Adrian still got calls about me, right? Amber would say, you go and talk to Daphne's new manager for a while because he jaga Daphne. His name is Azmi. So he could never get his name right. So as we said, like, hey, Amber, it's Azmi lah. What's so hard about Azmi? Call me Joe lah. Okay lah, Joey. So people are like, Joe. Why Joe? Joe what? When they ask like, oh, what's your name, Joe? Joe what? I want to put your name in. Balosi lah, because Balosi is actually our company name. It's Isabel's name, terbalik. And that's the reason why it's called Joe Balosi. And that's the reason why Joe Balosi is the manager name that has stuck
Oh.
all these years. Yeah. So that's how he managed me. But
Interesting.
it was not a bed of roses, though. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how it started everything. And that, like you said, before got married, right? How is the difference between before and after him being your manager?
Well, the first 2, 3 years was difficult. Not only because he was my business partner, but also I think it was also of our marriage. It was our second time around for the both of us. And we had expectations, we had our fears, I had my trust issues. So it was not only just managing emotions and our challenges of our marriage life, but also because we were trying to find our partnership, our working communication skills getting there. But because they were so mergedly close to each other, there were points during the first 2 years that I just wanted to quit it. I said, you know what? This is just not working for us. Either we stop being business partners or we get a divorce because it's just too crazy right now. It took a long time before we were able to find the right way into, not exactly balance, but finding the right way to communicate difficult and tough topics together. Because we're so different. Both of us are so different. Very different.
Okay. So after all the years of trying to find the way to communicate, right? So today, fast forward today, what are the roles that you guys have established? Like let's say in family, in family and business, the roles that each of you hold on to.
I think that was one of the reasons why we were, or rather, I was feeling underserved in the relationship, either in marriage or in my workplace, because we did not define our roles properly.
Correct.
So I'm the talent. I come up with the content, I come up with the scripts, I have to be in front of the camera or in front of the live audience, whereas he does the wheeling and dealing, and then he's done. So why I had to have that difficult discussion and was because I was keeping it all in. what happened was I felt that I was taking the brunt of the work, because for me, I needed time to think, to write, to
Yeah.
be, to be all my professional self. I had to be the one that had to appear smiley and beautiful and all these
Yeah.
things, while he just like, okay, dah sell, okay, you've got this, you've got that, and then he like cuci tangan, right? So I always felt like, your role is so much more easier than mine, because now the
Yes.
toll is on me. If Daphne Iking, cannot perform, you will not have anything to sell, So that was that conversation, because I felt like I'm doing most of the job. And then one day he brought it up, because I had this little motivational talk that I normally do, and he was tuning in because, of course, he's my tech guy, right?
Yeah.
And he waited a while. He didn't say anything during the live. I felt good. Motivation, speaking, done was good. Everyone was like, woohoo, that was a great motivation talk that you gave, Daphne. When the kids were sleeping, he spoke to me and he said, do you think we are partners? And I said, of course we are. He said, do you think we're equal? And I said, yeah. And then he said, why do I feel as if I'm not why do I feel like you're my boss and I'm just your worker? Because if that's going to be how it is, if that is the role that you want to show to the world, I'm completely fine with it. But don't say I'm your business partner, because right now you make it seem as if I'm just your driver, I'm just the person who collects your money, I'm just this, your cameraman, your video man, and your editor. I don't feel like I'm your partner. So that's sort of like, boom, and of course the first thing I wanted to do was like get defensive, like, what the fuck, what are you talking about, And then it hit me, because I was not mindful with how I projected him. And that's where the marriage part came in, because I had hurt his feelings. I didn't know that that was something that bashed his ego in that sense. And he's an engineer by profession, So he was very objective and stuff, which when I get emotional, that's where the two of us are so different. I get like all emo and he gets very objective. He said, like, if you want that to be the role where you are my boss and I'm just the your worker, I'm your staff, I'm completely okay with that, because then I can acknowledge it, but don't say we're business partners. So that was when I said we need to define our roles. So right now, yes, I am the content creator, I am the talent, and he is my manager. But now I am able to acknowledge the fact that he's more than just my manager, or just more than my driver, the guy who does that. Because if it weren't for him, because I hate talking about money, remember? I wouldn't be able to get the deals. He's the one that is chasing after jobs and, finding ways how to pivot. I can't do that shit. And that's where I realized my level of respect to his role, and to not say that I am the boss because I have to do so much, because he does his own much, but I just don't see it. And that's where that we had to go through that conversation. But yes, that would be the role. In terms of family, also because I'm someone that always encourages equality, but it has to be based on merit. He doesn't like cleaning. He does a really bad job at it. So let me do it. But when he does, like the kids, in terms of educating the kids, spending time with the kids, he's so patient. I cannot have that. I do not have that patience. So we define the roles like, you know what? You do a better job at this. I do a better job at this. Let's just focus on that, because those are our friends. Of course, naturally, there are times when I have to come in and help out with the kids. Or he helps me out with the cleaning, because he made up such a mess with his fish tanks, for instance. But we define those roles quite clearly, and I think it has helped tremendously over the past 5 years. Hi, JJ.
I think that myself as well, we have already I can really relate very much with you, because that's how my husband and I as well, we were like in a mess, and then there are conversation of us talking about who am I in this position, like am I just your driver? My husband actually asked the same question, like, am I just a driver? Am I just the sidekick, or am I your business partner, your investor? Because I always introduce him as my sidekick, which is very unfair to him. So yeah.
Yes, we have to be mindful about that, because sometimes he jokes. He says like, I'm Daphne Iking's driver. So when we had that different conversation, so I just cut you in there. When we had that difficult conversation, when I was a bit like tersentak sekejap, I said, but you always tell people also, why you always say, oh, I'm just Daphne Iking's driver. You know, when they don't know that he's my husband or my manager, say, oh, I'm Daphne Iking's driver. So when you say it like that, I feel as if you're okay with me addressing you as, you know, like, oh, he's my manager, he drives me around, he does this, he does that.
Mm.
Sorry, your next question.
Oh, sorry, I lost you like half a minute just now. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's okay. So we can move on to so the next question would be, how do you now separate your role in you know, I remember there's one live session that you did with Boss Mama, and we talk about how do you manages the relationship between you and Azmi, and also as a business partner and as a husband and wife. How do you manage your days and day and night, your weekday, your weekend? Yeah, because as I can
You know,
see,
there's no
your
such,
weekends are
there's
full.
no, yes, it is. It's really packed. There's no
Yes,
such thing as balance, you know. I don't think there is.
correct.
But I am very hardcore into my schedule. So time management for me is very key. And that's the reason why Joe or Azmi is so important in his role in making sure that my work schedule is there. And then I've got my other interests that I also put in. So we share a calendar. And then we have our
Yeah.
kids. So time management is so crucial for me. I think how I counterbalance the underserved categories that needs my attention, like my husband needs my attention, my kids need my attention, my mom needs my attention. I focus on each task according to the schedule that I have. And I know it sounds so clinical in that sense, but it works for me. We even schedule sex, you know, because then I know for a fact that, okay, and because he looks forward, his love language is touch. Mine is space. But then yeah, I need space. I'm like, give me space, go away.
Yes.
But yeah, so I know that's very important to him. And because of that, we schedule it. So if I'm on, if my menses comes in, then we sort of reschedule. But I make sure that it's there so that he doesn't have to like bila I boleh kacau I punya wife. You know, when can I come and like correct, grapple. And for me, at least I know. Look, I've dedicated this time for him. If he tries to get funky with me, you know, get jiggy with me, I know it's his right to do so because I schedule quality time with him. Intimacy is very important to him. Intimacy is important for him. Hence, it is important for our marriage. So I will not be like, you know, because prior to this, he would try lah, rabas, sini rabas. And I'm like, dude, I'm working. Dude, I've got makeup on. Dude, I just washed my hair. And he gets very like, you know, and it really was, it really did kill our marriage for a bit. But then because when we schedule it, then I know he's like, it's time. And I'm like, I know, you know, so sometimes I have to psych myself up. So that's another important thing about how I sort of draw a line between being his business partner and being his wife, being a business partner and being a mother, you know. And I also remember this because when in one of our fights that we had, when one of our disagreements, he said, it's funny how you treat other people who treat you like shit. So much nicer to them. You're so much nicer to them than to me. And I had to be, again, because I've learned this across over the years being with him, is that I don't straight away attack him. I swallow what and digest what he said, and then I'm like, Yala, why am I nicer to people who treat me like crap compared to my husband who's willing to die for me? And the only reason I do that is simply because I take him for granted. Because he's my husband. Surely he'll understand me. Surely he will know my emotions and we'll get over it because we're married. He can't just, you know, we have to stick together anyway. So it's easier to be angry with him. It's easier to be unkind to him. So from then onwards, I've made it a bit more in my head mindful that if I get angry with him, I have to treat him like I deal with my other staff or my other colleagues. How do I talk to them? Of course, I don't like bash out with them straight away, right? I don't go crazy or psycho with them, but I'm a little bit more mindful. So that was something else that I realized has helped a lot.
I think that is a very important point that you point out, to taking them for granted. that is because when, as you said, I actually reflect in myself like, oh really, yesterday I was working, and then my husband was like asking me question, and I was like, oh, can you just leave, and I need to work. so to you it's like the mindfulness, and also to know when is a time for husband and wife and it's time for work, you know. I think that is something that we all would need to work around it. And I hope you are still there, because I see that the connection is turning around. Okay, got you back.
Yeah, there's a bit of a lag.
Okay, so is
All right.
yeah. So okay. Do you lost me just now?
Yeah, a bit. So that's why I'm trying to move my phone, see if it's better. Are you okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Now, okay. So next question will be, what are the rules that you have established over the years? Is there a rule that you follow? Some kind of rule at home or work with Azmi?
I think for me, it boils down again to communication. I have to be mindful of when I talk to him, especially when emotions are running high. I have to be a bit more purposeful in my communication, in the content that I want to tell him, or when he's telling me something. I realize that my husband's tone is very firm, and I get very cepat kecil hati. So understanding each other's personality was very key for the both of us, because he knows that I can be I cepat goyang, in terms of like when he says something, he knows he needs to tone it down a notch. And I understand that his personality is just so straightforward. He's just so engineered where he just wants it black and white. I can story mori, go around the bush, and then finally I get to my issue, and he'll just say like, what are you trying to say? You know, and I'm like, I'm trying to tell you a nice story, and you just shout back at me. So that was one thing. One thing is about understanding each other's personality. So now when I want to talk to him, I know how he wants it, because he expects that from people, because he's like that. So if I want something, I don't story mori down the bush, round and round the bush. I will go like, babe, I need you to help me out with the fish today, because I have a live with Adeline at 10:30 and another live at 3 o'clock. Can you help me do that? He'll say, yes, done. Before this, I'll say, let's say, for example, I forgot that day. I forgot to mention because that day, Adeline, remember that day? Adeline, the one that passed me the waist pants, the shapewear. It's so good, you know. Then after that, and then I'll get into the topic about, can you help me out? Where is it? I think it's with Kakak. Go. So be direct. So that was one of the things about communication. I think it's also about defining our expectations about each other. All this while, I thought that, you know, because he sleeps late, I wake up early, so I get things done 4-5 o'clock in the morning. When I'm awake, I get a lot of things done, and then by the time he does come down, his engine does warm up, I'm depleted. I'm like tired. I've got that mid-morning dip, right? So he comes in like, where's this? Where's that? Where's this? Where's that? Where's this? And I'm like, the hell? I've been working since like 5 o'clock in the morning. You come down bossing me about. I'm like, that's just not fair. Why can't you people? So things like that. But now I've learned that he is a night owl. He gets work done better at night. So that's another thing about managing expectations. Not everybody can be or work like how you do. So acknowledging that and managing that has helped tremendously. We also used to have weekly rituals. So prior to the MCO, because we work from home and we're like every time like constantly in our face with each other, right? I said we need to do something that is non-work but work related, where we go outside and we have a coffee and we talk about our work in progress. So our WIP meetings will be outside, where we also spend a little time as husband and wife at the same time. So that's like a little weekly ritual to remind ourselves that it's not just about the business, but we're doing it for ourselves and for the family. So that's one thing I do. And remember to switch off, because sometimes I don't know about the others out there, but I can multitask. So let's say I'm making out and I'm thinking of, okay, have I done this? Have I done that? I need to learn to switch off, because he has read me so well that he goes, can you like focus on me? Can you focus on the act? You know, because, you know, So I've done that, and with my yogic breathing exercises and being able to be present, that has helped a lot too. Yeah.
So you have learned how to self-regulate your emotion better
Oh,
with a
definitely,
with a
definitely, and
with a
definitely, I think also because of a lot of experience that I've encountered over the years, it just builds you better, right? It makes you feel, I mean, it makes you be able to self-regulate yourself better. So in this case, when I'm feeling angry with him or when I am annoyed with him, because there are times it's not going to be like 100% awesome all
yeah
the time, right? I have a love bank. So, and this love bank, I have it in my journal as well as my mind, where I will remember things that he has done, like small little things, like putting batteries in my toothbrush, um, taking the kids out when he knows that it's just so noisy and I'm having my life. He'll automatically take the kids out because he knows that that's important to me. So those small things, acts of services, I'll put it down in my journal, because when things get really bad and I'm like, oh, it's so much easier if I'm just alone. Like, why can't you just die? Or like, just divorce me already, because sometimes it gets that bad, And then I look into my journal, I'm like, these are the reminders of why he makes such a great partner, why he's such a wonderful husband. So I think those are small, those are things that we can, that helps me in my marriage and business relationship.
understand. That's why to think back the things that he has done, and really to remind ourselves that, like you said, to take him for granted. And my husband as well is an act of service guy. He do replace batteries and stuff like that. So I can really very much relate to that. And sometimes I'm like in a meeting and he will give me a glass of water and all. It's I think he's also an engineer by trade.
No wonder.
So same. So yep. So okay, this question I know that you can't really answer, because this is, how do you unplug yourself off from work?
Adeline, you know me so well. I
I
can't.
can't.
I
Yeah.
cannot. You know what it takes me to unplug? A bloody tooth surgery.
Yeah.
When I'm sick, it's always when I'm really sick, like
Mm.
super crazy sick. That is my time to unplug. And it's crazy because my husband says, wow, the only time I see you are enjoying a movie when I'm like Netflixing or stuff, it's either when you need to do your ironing or when you're sick, you're completely sick. Like he'll force me to lie in bed. And of course, I'm still weak, right? Itu pun I curi-curi, like do my work
Yeah.
on my phone.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to answer that question. It's very hard to unplug, but that's why holidays is so important to me, and that's why probably this extended MCO has put a toll on me mentally.
Yep.
I know it sounds like oh my God, she's such a spoiled brat. She needs a holiday. Oh my God, like people are trying to get food on their table, and she wants a holiday. But that is just how it is. I'm so into my work and my career that having a holiday helps sort of unplug and unwind and really spend quality time with the family. And I've not had that here because of the MCO. There's travel restrictions, right? So I'm constantly working, because I find, don't get me wrong, I love working. That's the whole thing. I find joy in working. But I noticed that because I love working so much, and then I take on too much on my plate, and because of that, I burn myself out. There's that burnout, and that's why holidays for me is so crucial. Or else I get sick. I always get sick when I'm like completely like up to here. I
Burn.
think this toothache, right? This toothache, because the doctor was saying it's very strange, Daphne, tak ada lubang, but why so painful, ah? There must be an infection. So I think it's God's way. Then she had to bloody extract the tooth, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's God's way of saying, Daphne, I need you to rest. I'm gonna pull your tooth out right now. Because when I saw it, it's like completely fine. There's no lobang, nothing.
Uh-huh. But you had to get it out. You had to cut it open,
I
stitch it
had to
out.
because I didn't want to risk another. It was so bad. I think a couple of months ago, it just ballooned up like this, and I had so many commitments to do. Yes, Isabel?
Kaka is asking whether you want to have lunch now
Okay.
or
Yeah, this is the auntie who gave us the lunch. This is the auntie who gave us the lunch. Okay,
Oh,
can
Hi.
prepare in about 30 minutes lah. Mama will be done. You guys can eat first. See, this is my work schedule lah. Come in, come out, come in, come out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, over the years, have you ever had a mentor that give you advice in terms of like relationship and work, like all this while? Do you come across anyone to say something to you that hits you like, yeah?
I think in terms of marriage, first in terms of marriage,
Mm-hmm.
it would be my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
my father was a wonderful father, but he was not the most loyal husband. And it was a very, I mean, my parents remained married all the way till his dying days, right? So he actually was holding my mom's hands when he gasped his last breath. Mom was separated for him for a few years, in fact. And I think that sort of affected my perception of how marriage should be and my relationship with men in the, my relationship with others. Because my mom, to me, infidelity is a no-no, right? It's just no. But because she was so patient with him and she said, whatever it is, this is a problem between your father and I. He loves you all very much, and he did. Um, so that sort of confused me. It sort of like, mind fucked me about how relationships should be, because when it happened to me in a previous relationship, I couldn't handle it the way how mom handled it, right? And it just hit me when I spoke to her. I said, how do you handle the heartbreak? How can you see him and still be okay with everything, right? So she said,
Yeah.
love is unconditional. Maybe there are things that I am unable to provide to him, that he seeks in other persons, and we have an open conversation about this. Of course, it hurts, but I'm okay to go through with this marriage. And in the end, my dad came back to her, and to us. But it sort of made me realize, because one of the things mom said was, one of the things that when I had a discussion with your father, of course we had this discussion when we were much older, when we were adults. Back then, when we were kids, she didn't have this conversation. All I just felt was hurt for her, and I was just I remember being so angry with my father, right? And she said, you know what my problem was? I didn't say I love you to your father enough. And I want you all to remember that you need to always say, I love you. Don't be kedekut on your kisses and your hugs, especially when they have a hard day. Your father, you need to understand the love language. So she's the one who languages, because she realized it much, much later in her marriage, right, with my dad. And she said, it's marriage is work. And you have to work at it. If not, you won't be able to sustain. You can't just give up on work. Of course, there are limits. If he's abusive or he's just a horrible, horrible man, but what things that you can iron out, you should. So that was good practice, because Azmi's family are not so big on the I love yous and the hugging. So he sees that in my family. We're always I love yous. We always hug, because that's something that we've incorporated in our family. So he wants that done to our family, right? And I think that was one of the key messages that I had to remember, because his upbringing didn't have the same upbringing as mine. So I'm very forgiving in that sense, because my mother is a very forgiving person, whereas my husband is very, you do wrong, you kena lah. For me, like, Allah, give chance, give chance, give chance, right? So love is very unconditional. Of course, there's boundaries when it comes to abuse and stuff, but that it has to be, you have to really work at it. That's one. In terms of work, I am willing to sacrifice and acknowledge and be able to face the consequences of those sacrifices that I have decided to make openly, willingly, for my career. What am I saying about that is, I know, for instance, like when I was on TV, I knew that the working hours was going to be crazy, and that I wasn't able, at that point of time, I had Isabel, who was just a small baby, and I wasn't able to see her as much. So she was staying at my ex-in-law's place. And I kind of missed it. But at the same time, here I was at my prime in the TV industry, and I was sort of like a bit lost about, I don't get to see my daughter because my daughter's with my in-laws. But at the same time, I'm here at this career because I've got I work at odd hours. I've got assignments at 4. I sometimes have to be doing assignments at 11 o'clock at night, and I MC and stuff like that. It's better for my child to have a more stable, structured schedule with my in-laws because my mom is in Sabah, right? So that is some of the sacrifices that I have to acknowledge and be okay with, and find ways to counterbalance it by spending my weekends with her when I do have the time. So I know my sacrifice. I acknowledge it, and I have to be ready with the consequences. This happened recently because during the MCO, one of the things, remember I told you that my language of love is space. And prior to this, when my husband and I were working, I could still go out and see my friends just to have that little time out from him, you know?
Yes.
But during the MCO, you can't. And at that time also, I was also during my confinement. I had my baby and we had no helper, so there was no way I could go out even during when the MCO eased out a bit. So that's why I joined the not even one, two networking businesses. I did Norwex first just because I wanted the free mop. Then after that, I joined Thermomix, right? And the reason I joined it, of course, the income is great, and I love the both products very much, but also because I was able to network, and it was a business that didn't have anything to do with my husband, because then I was like, okay, I've got something on my own, I've got something that I can just nurture, and I'm networking with a new bunch of friends. So it sort of gave me the sanity of being with him like 24/7 all the time. Kalau dia nak lah, he can be under my ketiak the whole 24/7 kalau boleh. But for me, I need some space, time out, because as they say, absent makes the heart grow fonder, right? So that's how it is. But at the same time, with that two networking businesses, because it grew so fast, and I'm one of those persons, like I said, I'm very workaholic. I need things structured and stuff. So when my team grew bigger, just like that, of course, there comes with more responsibilities, and I started getting that burnt out because I'll be working out. I'll be working, like almost 24/7, right? I barely sleep. So he said, "You're tired, but you brought this to yourself. You have to face the consequences. I told you you're not ready for another network business. I told you one is enough. This is a different ball game altogether. But you wanted it, so you have to face the consequences." So tetap lah. I said, okay lah kalau macam tu. Betul juga dia cakap. So that's a sacrifice I took. I acknowledge it and I know about it. And if you want to strive in your career, there are things that you have to sacrifice, but you have to be ready to be accepting of that, and don't whine. Don't be like, I'm so tired. Oh my God, I don't get to spend time with the kids anymore. And he's like, because you took up another networking business. So I'm ready with that answer. I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah.
Yes. You actually answer everything. Like I have no question for you anymore. But there's one bonus question, when you don't mind me asking, is you as a entrepreneur, you are a mother of 4, and then you have all this networking market business. You do MC and you do all this. How do you? What kind of advice do you give to this kind of people, like your kind? Like your kind of people,
How do I what? Sorry, I lost you there.
Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry. I also lost you a little bit. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can.
So,
can you just repeat that?
Okay. Yes. So my question is, because you are, I don't know many people like you, and I can safely say that I can relate very much like you, because I feel like I'm like you. Like I also take up a few things at one time, and then I also burn out and all, and I'm crazy and all. So people always ask, are you crazy? No, I'm just being me. I love working and all. And my question to you is, what kind of advice do you have for people like you, who take out all these jobs and commitment, and also being a wife and mother? The advice.
I think it's very important for you to have a schedule. I think that's so crucial. having a schedule is so important. Managing your time, that's so important. And invest in good health, meaning if I had my way, if the MCO didn't take place, I've got a helper, or sometimes she's here, sometimes she's not here, but so she manages the kids. But because Eden is so clingy and I want the house clean at the same time, I will invest in money to get a part-time cleaner to help me out. I will invest a little bit more to get my postage out, because I don't want to be doing unproductive work, doing all these things when I can spend that quality time doing things that will bring more results. So I don't mind spending money for that. You know, like some people will stinge on it. They'll say like, "Ayah, never mind lah, I go post later, pay that one, another 2 ringgit extra, the one lah." I'm like, why 2 ringgit? That time could be spent doing whatever more productive stuff at home, or whatever you're doing at the office, right? So I invest a bit. I don't mind parting with that money if I know that the ROI is going to come back to me bigger.
Yeah.
It's the same with my network businesses, right? Sometimes I need to motivate the team. So I'm very generous in terms of when it comes to rewarding them. Because when I reward them, then they're happier. It brings about productivity, right? It gives them reason for them to continue being part of my team. And I think it's just simple things like that that helps. And another thing is, learn to trust your gut instinct. Your gut instincts are so, it's either, if you believe in religion or spirituality, it's God telling you or his angels telling you something. If you believe in anything else, that gut instinct is there to tell you something. So if you meet someone for the first time, I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but if you feel that something there, just be a little bit wary. I'm saying this only because if you and I are very similar, we work with a lot of people. You don't want to be hurt, but we're always trying to look at the good side of people, right? And that's a great trait. It is. But sometimes you do get hurt along the way. And then you go like, oh, I knew I should have listened to that niggling feeling. I knew there was something up with that, right? But yeah, that's another tip. And for husbands and wives, if you plan on working together and you think it's going to work out, go ahead and try it. But it is going to be a bit turbulent. You need to find the language and communication skills to get you both through. However, if you feel that you are coming on board to help your partner because you want to save their business, don't do it. Because more often than not, what happens is that not only are you trying to save your marriage, but you're also trying to save your business, and it just doesn't work out. It might end up even worse for you. So if you didn't come in like on board, let's say Adeline and you and your husband, right? You say like, come and join my business because try not. I don't use your example lah. Okay, like let's say friend Anis lah. Anis says, "Ayah, my business is going down, whatever," and then I'm gonna rope in Zarizi to come and help me, you know, and Zarizi comes in, but they can't find that balance. It normally won't work out that way. Zarizi has to want to be part of the business, because if then it's easier for them to both go through. Otherwise, Anis should just go and hire a business consultant or another partner or a mentor to help her. Don't rope in the husband. The husband or the wife, in this case, can help in other matters. Can help with the family. Can help with whatever else. But don't be business partners if you don't have plans to do it. That's my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, I can very much relate to that, because I started Plie with my husband as well, because he's like my investor. So we are in together. But the thing is, Plie is a shapewear company. It's full of women's stuff, right? We see women's figure, the boobs and everything is out there. And along the way, the beginning stage, when I was asking him to help me with the website, he was like, you know, I don't feel right to keep staring at these pictures. I don't know about the material, you know, it's not my thing and all that. Can you just, you know, I know I want to help you, but can you just, so at one point we said, okay, you don't have to help me. I will hire, because I know that you are forcing yourself to fit into the role, whereas you can't fit because she's not really. So we had that talk, and he said, okay, so that's when we were apart, like not as apart, but he take a step back and I hire a team. So that's how, then of course, mentoring and all, I can't ask him about all this fashion and stuff thing, right? He's a man, right? So I had to turn my turn to people that really in the industry and all. That's why I keep searching and asking around. And also that's why it's like you said, being business partner with your husband can be in a lot of things. And now because when I'm busy with Plie, then he will be helping with the kids and all. So that you are right. So I very much can relate to whatever that you say. Thank you so much, Daphne. Before we go, we have one question at the end here, from Chu Mei Yap. If I hear Daphne correctly, you're putting above your kids. That's the sacrifice. How will we know if your sacrifices are worth it? We won't know till later. That's a scary part. So, Daphne?
That is. No regrets. I think because, like I said, my husband's so drama at the same time. He's so intense. He actually said that, he said, jangan sampai you regret kalau something bad happened. So when he said that, that's how I am able to know when I've crossed these boundaries. Again, like I said, it goes back to trusting your gut instinct, right?
Yeah.
So there will be signs of it, and I'm very mindful of those signs that come to me. Like, for instance, either I'm sick or there's something that happens with the kid, and that's where I sort of, okay, enough of this, enough of work. I need to focus on the kids. I need to focus on my husband. I need to focus on whatever is needed. So I'm able to nip it at the bud, if I may say so, because I know at the same time that I'm not going to wait until something happens bad, really, truly something bad happens, before I menyesal. Because my husband said, don't regret. Remember that whatever sacrifices you do right now, you must be able to bear the consequences. And because he said that, I acknowledge it, I know, and then I move on. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but yeah, I always listen to that instinct and the signs from the beginning.
Yeah. I think it's the being sensitive with all the signs around us. I think that is also one of the things that the traits that we have as a multitasker. We get to somehow balance and know the signs and all, and then we learn along the way. We get better along the way. Like yesterday, I was because recently I have a new helper, which is about 2 weeks already with me. And yesterday when I was hugging my son, my 8-month-old son, and I was like, he doesn't smell like me anymore. Like he smelled more like someone like my. So I sense it because I took her for granted. Like I pass him to her very often. Then last night I was like, he doesn't smell like me anymore. So I look at my husband. I said, my husband, yes, you need to spend more time with him. So that's a small hint. I guess what you're saying, that we are mindful about, and then we take action. Like, okay, then I can take care of him more, and then I ask my helper to do something else. So I think that's one of the things that we must take notice, the small things that we know in our daily life. Then we know that whether we are really sacrificing a lot or not. The balance, the point to stop, right? Yeah. So
it's interesting that you mentioned about the helper, because she like she always disappears on me. Like she'll come in, she ada je masalah kan, got one after another. But then when she has to go off, naturally I have to be 100% back on, like, looking after the whole place, right? And I actually enjoy it, even though it's tiring. I actually enjoy, like, okay, I've got my house to myself, and I noticed that, hey, how come she didn't change the sponge? Why did she tell me that this part is missing? Because I rediscover my household, and you know how of a OCD I am, right? I mean,
yes,
I say that with so much mindfulness because I know that this is a real disorder, but it is, and I'm managing it better. And of course, with my kids, and I'm able to cook for them. But of course, it's a relief again when she's back, lah. Like,
yes.
And then she go off again. But I feel that's God's way also. Like, kenapa asyik dia nak ambil leave ni? Ada masalah dia ni. So I think that's God's way of saying, like, enough. You're doing too much.
Yes.
Gonna see your kids now.
Yes. My husband also always said that, don't forget you're a mother. That comes first. You're a mother. So, yeah. And then the kids are growing up.
And
so
I love
fast.
being a mother.
Yes.
It's not as if I don't love being a mother. I love it. But I love working at the same time.
Yes.
I love working. You know, my daughter the other day, right? They introduced me
Yeah.
to this new game. It's called Genshin or something like that.
Okay.
So so that was my way of bonding with them because I was like, okay, what can I, what discussion can I have so that I can be like on par with them, right? So they
Yeah.
introduced Genshin, and then they introduced me to some characters, and I saw one of the characters. She looked like she liked nature, and she likes, so she looks, the build looks like me, and I said, this one is me, this one is
Mm-hmm.
Mama because she likes. They said, yeah, this is you, Mama, this is you. And then I said, because she likes nature? And they said, no, because she's a workaholic. So I told my husband that, of course, we have our pillow talk, right, at night. So I said, hey, you know what, that day the girls were talking to me about Genshin and they remind me of this particular character. And I thought it's because the character likes to do gardening and stuff and nature. Tengok, because workaholic. He said, see, even your kids can see it, you know. Okay, kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Hi. Waiting for you for lunch. Yeah, I think even my 3-year-old daughter will say that, Mommy, do you have meeting today? She will ask me in the morning. Then she has grown up so big past MCO that whenever she see me having a session like this, she will cannot come and disturb me. She has grown to the stage where a 3-year-old would not come and disturb me. That's how much
She
she
knows
understands
already.
that Mommy needs to work. She knows already, like cannot disturb. And then whenever I finish, then she will come to me and say, Mommy, are you done already? I said, yes. Can I have a hug? Then that's when I go back to her 100%. So I think like our kids, no matter how big or small they are, they take notice of how workaholic we are in terms of that. Yeah. I can see the reflection of from my daughter as well. So yeah,
And I think the most
I
important
think we
part
have a
is
very
the biggest kid for us actually, Adeline, is our
yeah
husband.
our
Kan?
yes
Our husband.
yes
That's the biggest
mm-hmm.
kid.
Yes.
So today he's gonna take his slot, his vaccination.
Oh,
So
okay.
he managed to get a slot. Last night he got the message. So today he's going. So I said, you better go and do whatever you need to do. That's why we were cleaning the fish tank just now. Because, because one thing about, I don't know about your husband, when my husband, dia sakit sikit, like got flu,
Yes.
demam, like
Yes.
demam, like have to masuk hospital like that.
Mm.
So I'm anticipating that later on because I said,
Yeah.
I don't know what your side effects are going to be, but just be mindful. So yeah, our
Yep.
husbands are actually our biggest kids.
Yes. And then they need the love the most actually. The most attention. Yeah. Okay. I have not got my I saw your appointment as well. I have not gotten my appointment as well. Until now, I'm still checking every
And
day.
you're breastfeeding, right?
Yes.
So frustrating. So hopefully
Yeah.
I'm gonna refresh. Some of my friends said go to the help desk and refresh and stuff. So I did that. So let's just hope for the best. Because I can't wait to go back to Sabah lah. I really miss going back to Sabah.
Yes, me too. Okay, thank you so much, Daphne, for today. This is a very nice talk with you. I think very concise and very concrete, the kind of advice and experience that you share with us. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
me.
Thank you. Have a great Sunday with your family.
I'm gonna enjoy your makan-makan now. Bye.
Yes. Bye-bye. Thank you.